Well, hello, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. So I see we've got a lot of familiar faces here, or familiar names, as you might say. All right. We're just a few, not everybody's going to be able to attend, as always. So I'm going to turn off the camera so you guys can just see the full screen, and we'll go from there. And I'll keep an eye on the questions as well. It's just me today. So if you have a question, please be patient, just so we can make sure to get to that. Okay, doke. All right. So let's get started on the Collab Center. There are a couple of ways to do the Collab Center. And I know a lot of people actually search for, well, where do I see Collab Center? It's part of your contacts. So what you're going to do to get someone added to the Collab Center, you're going to start in your contacts. So let's go ahead and click into the contact section. You can either view and manage your contacts and add one in, but we're going to start from scratch today. We're going to add a contact in. And I'll make sure that I don't have Betty Byer in here already. Let me go back and check. Good, no Betty Byer. Okay. You see I just moved back and forth from one tab to another because I'm in my contacts tab here. Then I have all of my contacts, and at this time I'm adding a new contact. So your first thing, this little new only here, this is going to be your general way you set up people. Unless you like to see listings first, then you'll want to set them up as agent preview. But we're going to keep it nice and easy down the center of the road today. We're going to select new only. And of course, the required fields are the first name and last name. So this is going to be Betty Byer. Now, don't forget, you will have to add an email. So I can either tab my way through or just click either way. Now, as I tab through here, see what happens. I tab, and it gives me a green check mark. It says, okay, that looks like a valid email. I do, however, have to select which of these emails are going to be the primary. It should default to this one, but it does not. So there's a lot of information that I could add into their contacts module. So let's go ahead and add in their spouse. Bobby Byer. And I'm going to say Bobby's email. Now as I tab, it gives me a check mark to let me know that looks like a valid email. I'm not going to select primary because guess what will happen? He's now the primary and she is not. She's now secondary. My contact, so I'll keep her as my primary. And yes, I do want to add the spouse to the notification, so you'll select that little box right next to it. Now we also have their home address. We could add that in here as well, because the cool thing is you can do labels out of your contacts module here. So if you're looking to do Christmas cards or holiday cards, you can certainly do that out of Paragon. Website information for them. And over on the right-hand side, I'll go to the top, you have telephone numbers, HomeBot, which we really don't talk a lot about. It's just an extra piece that Paragon has. And you can manage your contacts by adding in what type of contact this is. Is this a family member, a buyer, just a regular contact? It's a buyer, and maybe they were a friend, maybe other things. But I also have groups included. So groups are something that you can add yourself. And this is usually, they're either a buyer or a buyer prospect, a seller or a seller prospect, or maybe you've got your sphere of influence. And then me, my side hustle is Wines for Humanity. So maybe I can add them to my Wines for Humanity group too. And this would be specifically for emailing. If I wanted to email a group of people in my contacts, this is how I would set up those emails. Darlene. Hey, Darlene. All right, so what does HomeBot mean? HomeBot is a wealth building program. It's designed to keep you in front of your clients. It is an automatic drip campaign. They send out once a month to your homeowners, and it will let them know the value of their home and what they could do with the value, whether rent it out on Verbo, increase to a larger home, or maybe invest in a second home. So it's a really cool piece. You can add yourself on HomeBot. So all you would do is enter in your address information and then say yes, add the contact to HomeBot. You have 25 free contacts you can put in here. And so that's the whole thing. Black Knight never got the billing down on this one. So that's why we stopped really talking about it. It's still available. So you can certainly add that in there. I've got my father-in-law and a few of my friends on HomeBot just to keep an eye to see how the product works. It's a good question. Now we also have reverse prospecting. Reverse prospecting only works in the Paragon system. So in other words, it does not work with RealComp, or say people on the west side of the state, they are using Rapatoni. So if they're using a different MLS system than Paragon, it will not work, because there's all sorts of programming in here that it needs. So reverse prospecting, if I were to check this and give this an alias of Snowball. Don't ask me how I came up with that. It just came up the top of my head. Wait, Snowball. Let's try spelling it correctly. So reverse prospecting. So my buyer wants a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. So if I were to use, if I said yes, allow reverse prospecting for this, that would mean that somebody, a listing agent with a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, could run the reverse prospecting report and see that, oh, Debbie has a client named Snowball, no contact information, no nothing. Debbie's client Snowball is looking for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. I would like to reach out to Debbie, the agent, and tell her that I've got a perfect match for her client Snowball. That's how reverse prospecting works. And now with even more people on Paragon, it'll work even better. Okay, so now you have to save your information. So let's just tap save in the upper left. Okay, so you do have a wizard that you can use. So here is your just contact activity page. You see there are no saved searches. They are not on HomeBot. I have no notes, no tasks, no nothing for this client. Of course not, because I just added them. Let's hit the next. And it's going to go through all of my information. We just did this page, don't need it. Next. Aha, here's where we need to be. So we need to add a search to this client's contact, right? So either A, I can load an existing saved search, which means I just go select it. So I click on that and my list of searches will populate. But I haven't done that yet, so we have to go create one. So let's add a new saved search. You have to select your class. Let's just do your residential. And here you are with your residential search. So type residential, and I just type and tab my way through. Status, active, tab. All right, now I don't want any items or any homes that are for rent. I only want homes for sale. However, if my low end is at 250,000, then I obviously don't need to make that selection there. I've just wasted a click. So 250 to, we'll go 400. These are getting a little high. Now, one thing, if you're going to be using area or municipality, and yes, this is the same as municipality down here. Why? It's just a throwback. And you'll see that they just look a little different. So if I type in St. Clair for here, there's St. Clair. And if I type in Clair here, St. Clair, now you'll see there's the difference. This one is just the words, and this one is the city code, and then the city itself. And the one reason why I like using this one is because these first 2 digits are the county indicator. I know that St. Clair County is 74. So if I also just type in 74 or type in St. Clair here, I know that my only options in here will be anything in St. Clair County. So that's a nice, easy way of entering municipalities. If you want to make not to get anything else in another county, you can just type in that county as well. Another way, I'm going to remove this one, county, and there. See, here's another easy way of just removing items on the right-hand side. So if I'm looking for a few items in St. Clair, and I'm not sure which cities I'm really looking for, I'm going to tap the magnifying glass over to the right-hand side. And here's a couple of cool things. So number one, this is a list of 2,000 municipalities in the state of Michigan. You know, I really don't want to sort through 2,000 municipalities. I just need St. Clair County. So what I'm going to do, and I already found out that St. Clair is 74. So I'm going to type in 74 here, but this is contains. So anywhere in that number, but I only want items that are going to begin with. Go and tab to make sure that that's moved. So now I'm down to 34 municipalities that I have to look at. I'm like, oh, that's much better. So I know I wanted St. Clair and St. Clair Township. So let's go down to that page, and I'll make sure that I have those in the township. All right, so what else do I need? Maybe there was one that I needed. You know, it's right around. Maybe I forgot. Oh yeah, they really liked Berlin, and a couple other things. And there's China and East China Township as well. So, but this gives you a nice idea of everything that is in the county. Let's go ahead and save that. So now you'll see we have a list of our municipalities here. And they're also over here as well. Okay. Structure style. If we are particular about wanting a ranch, super interesting. Oh, all right. Nice job. Darlene is learning new stuff today. She's been around for a minute. So that's why sometimes you pick up on something. So if I'm looking for a ranch, you know, that's going to be a 1-story, or if they don't really care what they are looking for, you don't need to make a selection. So we're going to say today they are looking for a 1-story. So far we are already down to 7. Maybe we want 3 bedrooms, 2 baths. Now remember, this is bathrooms total. And what is that going to get you? It could get you 1.5 baths, because that means that there are 2 bathrooms in the home. Whether they're whole or half is not a concern. That is 2 bathrooms in the home. And it could be on any level as well. And yes, we've had the discussions about, well, does the bathroom in the detached garage count? Because there used to be a time that, you know, the bathroom in the basement didn't count, but now it is shown as part of the total baths. That's why you have to be very diligent when looking at those to make sure if your client has to have 2 bathrooms on the main floor and not in the basement, you have to make sure to look at that. Basement, of course, this is Michigan, isn't it? So let's do a yes. Waterfront, I would love it, but I can't afford it in that price range unless I'm looking for a studio apartment. All right, Mark has a question. When did it change from 1 for 1.5 baths? It does not. So the total baths is counting the total number of bathrooms in the house. It doesn't matter if it's a half bath, or in Florida, we use a 3/4 bath or a full bath. It counts the numbers of doors to bathrooms. So in Paragon, it's always been like that. If you would like to, oh, that's 0.1, okay. Oh, 0.1. Oh, 1/10 of a bathroom? We've never had 1/10 of a bathroom. So 0.1 is a real comp one where they would use 0.1, 0.2, 0.3. We count total bathrooms in the home when you're using total bathrooms. Now, if your client is very specific about, look, I must have 2 bathrooms. Don't give me 1.5. It's not going to work for my family. So how do you find that? Let's scroll down. And in the secondary criteria down here, I'm going to tap the arrow and open up that box and scroll down. You'll see we have a lot more criteria here. And thanks for that clarification on the 0.1. I obviously didn't see that at a glance. So here are your bathrooms full and bathrooms half. So again, this is not going to be, these are going to be full numbers. So if you're looking at 2, that's 2 half baths. So, and there are no places that have 2 half baths. I'll just go ahead and take that out right over on the right-hand side, that X. So if I'm looking for 2 full baths, they will be here. And now we are down to 5. And if I did add in 1 half bath, that would, well, okay, doesn't work like that very well, does it? Because I'm using that 1 at the top. All right, so we have 2 full baths. We can take out the 1 bathrooms total. So and that's still, we now have 5 listings that have 2 full baths. So in Paragon, we use full numbers. All right, so let's go back up to our baths. And if you need, you can always reach out to me, or actually put it in a chat too, saying, Debbie, can you please change my search criteria? I always use bathrooms half and bathrooms full. I can take these out of the bottom container and put them in the top, put them right up here. Okay, fireplace. Now the one thing for me, a fireplace is mandatory. I'm not going to live in a house that doesn't have a fireplace here in Michigan. I like my fireplaces. But the sad thing is, this is not a mandatory field. So I could miss some listings if I actually put fireplace yes. So on these, especially only with 5 listings, I would independently verify on each listing. And of course, a garage, yes. But I'm going to say I want a 2-car garage, not just yes for a garage. Pool, no. Ownership, subject to short sale, not a big deal. Now, don't forget your feature codes. Now, these are some very important pieces in here. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the magnifying glass to see what's all in here. There are 3 columns in each. So it's a must-have, must not have, or hey, as long as I get one of these, I'm good. So let's go ahead and hit the magnifying glass. All right, so maybe we'll foundation. Well, let's try that one here. No, that's not fun. I don't like that one at all. I usually do financing. I think that should be down at the bottom. Oh, that was the top, wasn't it? Oh, there's my fireplace features. Let's go with fireplace. So here are my options for types of fireplaces. And here are the columns that I would select from there. Must have, must not have. I do not want a basement fireplace. Okay. And hey, as long as I either get a dining room, a family room, a great room fireplace, you know, honestly, that comes under fireplace yes, any of those. Fireplace yes would hit any of these and every one of those. So as long as it has a fireplace in the house of some sort, it will come up on the list when you do fireplace yes. But if you wanted to be more specific, not a basement fireplace, if I want any of these, and just be like fireplace screen, doesn't even belong in here, but that's okay. So we'll go ahead and save that and see what our results look like. Oh, 1. Okay. Yeah, you know, we're going to have to say no to the fireplace features, because remember, these are not mandatory fields. So here's what I'm going to tell you. You as the listing agent should be very robust about entering in information. If it has a great room fireplace, enter it. Or family room, I would click both of those, honestly, because to some they're about the same. They're kind of interchangeable, but not to everybody. So as the listing agent, be as robust, because you never know what buyer's agents are going to be looking for. If I'm the buyer's agent that adds in all of this criteria, how are you ever going to sell that listing? Or B, how am I ever going to find those listings? Let's go ahead and remove those. All right. You have school districts in here. There's your garage, square footage. Whew. Let's see if we got at least 1,300 square feet. We just knocked off another listing. And remember, you do have your other criteria. It's your secondary criteria down at the bottom. You have site condos are down here. There's your bathrooms, half or full. And even sometimes when you're doing CMAs, you might want to use that year built. All right, so let's go ahead and search. Now you'll see this is going to look a little different than when you normally hit search when you're searching for homes out of the search icon. So this one, you're going to have the options to save your search or add it to a cart. So adding it to a cart is just putting them in a place where you can save them for later. You can get those to clients, but that's not the main way to do it. So the main way to do it is by saving the search. Let's go ahead and save that. And it's going to automatically call it Save Search For and your client's name. Now I might do St. Clair and or a date, 12/7. Oh, it's the 7th. And save. All right. Now that you've saved it, it's going to bring you automatically to the part where you see Collab Center. Blow this up just a little bit for you guys. So the Collab Center is here. Now, if you want, you can send the welcome message right now. However, just so you understand, your default settings are going to be you get an agent notification immediately, the same time your client does. And your client will also get immediate notifications. So that's going to be your basics until you want to change it. So let's go ahead and see what we can change it to. Well, there is a message body in here, but we really don't need it anymore because the Collab Center has a wonderful message body. Here's your triggers. What's going to trigger an email to your client? So these I did set up in my preferences wizard. That's up back here in those icons, my preferences wizard. I said that even for me, I want status changes to go to my client simply because the market is moving so quickly right now. I want my clients to understand that things are going pending. So I really like this listing, and in 3 days, it's pending. So if you really like this listing, you might want to make a move on it. So I have price changes, new matches, any comments from my client or me, and then status changes. So here's my client notifications and my agent notifications. So my client gets their client email, and the agent, me, I get a different kind of email. And I don't want mine immediately. I set all mine in to come in at 7 a.m. in the morning. So I'm going to tap recurring, and you do have to tell it what time. So you'll see in my preferences wizard, I did tell it 7 a.m. Like, okay, cool, I'm good with that. And if I want, I could get a weekly report. And the same thing for my clients. If my clients take lunch at 12 every day, and that's when they want to see their new emails, then I would send out the email at 11:30 to make sure that they had it. by the time at lunchtime rolls around. Who's it going to? Yep, Betty and Bobby, because that's the way I set it up. And if you set up yourself as a BCC, guess what's going to happen? You're going to get the same email that your client gets, and then you're also going to get your agent notification, just so you know. And at the very bottom is your subject line, activity notification for your Collaboration Center site. And I might even add St. Clair, just to let them know which search they're looking at, and tap OK. So now those are my settings. And then what do I need to do? I need to send that welcome email to my client, because it's going to tell them that they need to establish a password. Oh, I don't need to do that. So it's going to Betty and Bobby. Welcome to your Collaboration Center for buyers. And why does it only say buyers here? Because yes, there's one for sellers as well. So this is blank, but don't worry. Let's preview it and see what it actually has. So you know I have my headshot loaded up, got my cell phone and my email in here. And here are my clients' names. See, and this is why I used Bobby's full name here, because otherwise it would be Betty Buyer and Bobby. Oh, okay, just Bobby, huh? So it's Betty Buyer, and then I put the full last name for Bobby Buyer. 4 matches have found, and they can simply view the listings here. Where do those listings come from? Yep, they're all going to be undecided. And then we also have agent picks. So even though I have my client set up on automatic notifications, maybe every now and again I want to send them a listing. But here's the thing, the house that I'm actually sitting in right now, the only reason why we ended up getting this, because it was out of our price range to begin with, but I still liked it. And eventually it came down by 20 grand. And then voila, it was suddenly in my price range. And that's when I got a notification that the price had come down. And if you have your client set up, you can put this listing into their Collab Center. And if something like that happens, they will get a notification. So that's the cool thing about the agent picks, is you don't have to notice that the price was changed and send it to them. Now, your clients can also mark listings as favorites, possibles, and rejects, and I strongly suggest that you ask them to do that, because it really helps you understand them. Communicate with comments. Now, I don't really care for the comments in here. Sorry, it's just my personal opinion. I honestly like Home Snap. That's the way I like it. But the comments are here. They're okay. They'll work. But if I'm only on once a day notifications, that's not going to work very well. Custom folders. Oh, sweet. So you mean I can create a folder that has homes with pools I love? Okay. And they can even compare listings in here too. So it's a very robust program for your clients. Of course, they do need to create a password. And it is personally branded to me, my broker. Well, this would be my brokerage logo if I worked for a brokerage, but I work for the MLS. The only thing that has changed in here, the preview still shows Google+, but this actually is Instagram. And the only reason why these 4 are shown here is because I have added something into my Collab Center. So I put my Facebook for Business page in the slot where it belongs, my Instagram, LinkedIn, and Twitter. Although I think I put something different in those because I don't have Twitter anymore. All right, so let's close this. And then we're going to send the welcome message to your client. Now, what are you always going to look for? The green email sent. Here's a very important piece to make sure that your clients do get it. All right, so I do have a question for you guys. Okay, first question of the day. Have you started using Collab Center? So I'll give you guys a moment to answer that. All right, looks like Oh geez, almost everybody has voted. 88%, that's awesome. So let me go ahead and close the poll and show you. So 64% yes. A few of you, no, that's okay. That's why you're in class. Mark. Years, nice. Great. See, and that's why, you know, even it's nice to brush up and come back to class, because every now and again, things do change. Let me hide those results and close out of this. So I have had questions. I see it in tech support. It's called fine tuning. Nice, Darlene. She's right. So I have had agents ask, especially, you know, we've had a few members come over from other MLSs because of changes. And so they're like, well, where do I see all the messages that were sent to my clients? If I want to go back and find something that was there to them previously. So over on the left-hand side, you have your message history. Just simply click into that and you'll see your entire history here. So if you click into the subject line, you will see the email itself. Let me scroll down. There you go. And there's the email that was sent, the 4 matches. So you can easily see what was sent and when. So it's a manual email, which means I manually sent it. Now it's today at 10:30 is when we did that. So there also is another way of adding in searches for your clients. Maybe Betty and Bobby came into a little bit of money and they want to buy a lottery home. Well, I already have a lottery search saved. So we can simply go and add search on the left-hand side. And that's how you're going to load an existing saved search. And these are alphabetical. So I'm going to select my lottery search and save. Now, on this one, we can do settings as well. Because this, remember, the default is immediately. So I'd want to change mine to recurring at the 7 a.m. And tell them it's the lottery search. And okay. Now you do not have to send a new welcome email because they already have one. They've already been welcomed into their own Collab Center. Actually, you know, you can add a seller in here as well. So those are going to be one of the things. I'm going to have to assume Audra's ID because, you know, I do not have listings as I work for the MLS. So I'll have to do that for you in a little bit. So under your buyer activity, so I'm going to collapse this and see how you guys normally see it. So as you come into your contacts module and then you go into Betty Buyer, you'll see the buyer activity and seller activity. So if you just want to click on buyer activity, it will open it up. So there's the lottery search and the saved search for Betty Buyer. And again, I could add another search if I wanted to. I can add several searches for my clients. And this way they can fine tune their results as well. They can go and see only these searches and only these searches. It's kind of cool. And we also have agent recommended. So I can do it right from here. I generally never do it this way though. So I could go in and manage those listings. But I'm usually finding that the other way around. When I'm doing a search and I'm finding something in St. Clair, actually, you know what? My dashboard, my market monitor is set up for St. Clair. Actually, it is set up for the East China School District, which is the school district here in St. Clair and a little elsewhere. So let's go into one of the 9 new listings and pick the most expensive at the bottom. That's not too shabby. All right. So we'll say, oh my gosh, you know, I know she will love this one, but it was just a little out of her price range. So I have to get this to my client. She is going to love this. So how do I do this? So let's save the listing. And I'm going to save it to a listing cart. This is not for myself, but for a contact. Just the current listing that I was on. And my contact is Betty. There we go, Betty Buyer. And I can do save and notify. It's already open, yes, thank you. All right, so if I refresh, let me go back into Betty, into my buyer activity, and my agent recommended. So you'll actually see there's my agent recommended right here. And there's the saved search for Betty Buyer and the lottery search. So you will see everything if you have multiple searches for your client. You can also do this. I'm going to back out a little bit. I'm going to back out of Betty, and you'll see one other place that you can see that too. On your main page, here's Betty. You can simply hit that plus over on the left, and you'll see her searches right there. You'll see there's the end date. So these are going to end in June. I have mine set just for 6 months. The default is 1 full year. So let's go ahead and close that up. So here's what I absolutely love about the Collab Center. Then we'll go back into adding a listing here in a little bit. Okay, so Betty Buyer. No phone number in here as of yet. So there's a nice view button. What's the view for? That's to view your client's Collab Center, and we'll check that out in just a second. So we have 23 matches for, I just added the 4 in there. So we have, they are all undecided listings. And here is my nickname, the alias, over on the right-hand side. So remember what the alias is for? That's for the reverse prospecting. So if another listing agent calls me and says, hey, Debbie, I've got a listing for your snowball client for that 3-bedroom, 2-bath in East China, St. Clair, wherever they want to be. So that's how I find it. Okay. Now let's go ahead and view your client's Collab Center. Let's go ahead to the blue view button here. That's going to load up. Alrighty, so they're all going to be in the updates, which are new. 22 are undecided, and there's one that's the agent pick. So at any time they can just go right, well, it's the one at the top, but the agent pick. Oh, okay, so that's the one that you sent me, huh, Debbie? Yeah. Now you'll also notice the all saved searches here. Because my client has multiple searches in there, there's the lottery search. So if they want to go in and just see what the lottery ones are, there they all are. If they want to just see the Betty Buyer one for St. Clair, there they all are. So that's a cool piece on being able to do this. Now this is your client side of this, don't forget. You can also change the view. The thumbnail is what we are on now. You have the grid view or a tile view. It's just a little skinnier down version. And then you can see them all on a map as well. In my lovely little town of St. Clair here. And yes, the St. Clair Inn is open again, so come on up to St. Clair and enjoy some drinks on the river. And watch some freighters go by while they're still running. Okay. Now, one of the other things that your clients can see, or do rather, so you have favorite, possible, reject. There's creating a custom folder and then comparing the listings. Now, the other thing, well, you can view the detail. You see a lot more detail here. But this button here, the additional options, check this out. They can email the listing out. There's the comments. They can request it. What? They can request a showing. Yes, they can. But it comes to you. They can also share this listing on Facebook because, you know, so many people like to get their sphere of influences approval of a home. Are you actually going to come visit me in St. Clair if I move all the way out here? Okay. So those are some really cool things. And of course, we'll go through your preferences wizard in a second, and you'll see what's behind the contact me. You'll see how to get that set up. So you have your office information, not your MLS information. Of course, that's my office. You also have the ability to put in a short video here. It's called Your Story. And my story is, yes, new agent onboarding, chapter 1. That's what I do. You can also put links in here. You'll see that I have the name as well as the link. And these are things that are very helpful in my area. Or something I found on, where was that? I think I found that with NAR. Staging Can Help You Sell on their YouTube channel. Lots of interesting stuff here. And there's the hello and welcome to your, there's 2 of them in there for me. So I might want to clean that up. I have my own site in here. So if you remember, I put everything in here that I could possibly utilize for you guys, so I could show you guys. So if I have my own website, it's going to go open up. And actually, you do have your own, too cute. You do have your own website with HomeSnap. And you'll see, if I go into the URL, it's homesnap.com, and whatever your name is entered there. So you can just simply go into my profile under the me and my public profile, and that's this page right here. You copy the URL up here. Just copy and paste it over in your preferences wizard. And this is how people can search for you. All right, so there's my Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Instagram accounts. Just another way of how your clients can contact you. Now, Darlene, you had asked, what is HomeBot? So HomeBot is also found in here under the My Home Wealth. So this is where Betty Buyer can add herself into it as well. And here are a couple of the screenshots. This means the net worth of your home is this much. When to refinance. So there's some really nice pieces in here. Although, you know, these are algorithms. You know, I've got some of our trainers that say, wow, it's crap, the numbers are wrong. And here in St. Clair, I'm like, well, you know, what I'm seeing, I like these numbers. These numbers seem to be in line with where they should be. So as with anything, take it with a grain of salt. Valuation is only what somebody will pay for your property. All right, so let's get out of the Collab Center and add HomeSnap as well. So what I want to do is I want to go over to one of my agent's accounts. This is Audra. And so don't think that everybody can do this. So I'm going to assume the identity of Audra. I am staff with my real source. And this is how we help you guys, by fixing your crap. When you do something and you don't know how to fix it, that's where we can assume your ID and fix it for you. All right, so here is Miss Audra's Paragon. You'll see that she's got the Paragon for brokers, which means she has her own brokerages information here. We set this up and created this for them, but that's not what I need. So I'm going to go into the contacts module, view and manage. Then I'm going to find her client, Debbie. And there we are. So Debbie Fajardo is here. So let's go ahead and get into that contact. So we have a saved search for Debbie Fajardo, and we also have a class test. So, but here's a really cool piece here. Here is the seller activity. So, wow, I have a lot of listings, don't I? So Bancroft is sold. So it's been disabled, so we can remove this listing. And okay. See if this one is still, oh, great. This is still available. Now that my client is set up on this, I want to show you what you can do. So I want to view the site. And again, this is going right into the Collab Center. There's just another available tab up there at the top because there were, there were the homes that matched my criteria. And then there was the My Home Wealth. And now there's the seller activity. And this contact is kind of funny. She put her photo up there. Here is the listing. Here's the activity summary. There's 178 views. Now remember, this is me, the client, looking into my Collab Center to see what's going on my home that is for sale. Listing views within the past 14, 30, 90 days. And these are real estate agent views, prospective buyers, and if there are any price changes in here as well. The showing time activity, there's been 20 total showings, and we have received feedback from 9 different people, and that is directly from showing time. All right, see, nobody's been marking it as favorite possible. 1 rejected it. Okay, good, that's good. 148 real estate agent views, 30 prospective buyers have looked at it, and no agents have recommended it. It's okay. There we go, and the social activity as well. There's a lot of information in here. That's really cool, really, really cool. How do you get your client on the sell side? Well, number one, you have to have the listing. So if I were to add a listing, it means I have to associate my property. So I'm going to click associate property. Then I'm going to have to select a listing. So there's one of these two. I simply select it, save. Now I do have to do more things. So both the sell side site and the email report are off by default. So I want to turn it on. And then I'm going to send that update email. Of course, it'll go automatically. Cool. And that's been scheduled. And now the email report. This is going to go weekly is my default. I'm going to turn the agent off, and Debbie's going to get a daily one because she's really an anal client. Just has to know what's going on. There you go. So those are a couple of things right there. All right, so I believe I have a question. So let's go ahead and launch a poll. Have you customized your Collab Center yet? Oh, it's an overwhelming no. All right, I want to share these results with you guys. Yeah, that's an overwhelming no. All right, so let's go ahead and check that out then. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to go back to my account. So your admins can also do this for you as well. The ones who work for the brokerage, they can assume your identity. That way they help with your listings and stuff like that. Okay, so back in mine, where do you customize? Where do you set your preferences up in Paragon? I'm going to go to my preferences icon. Then my bottom right, there is the Collab Center Preferences Wizard. So let's go ahead and click into that. And of course, naturally, you're just going to hit start. Now, my given name is Deborah. I don't go by Deborah. So when that was entered into the system, I quickly changed that from Deborah to Debbie. So this very first page is your agent information. Nothing about your office. This is just about you. Your name. Do you want your primary number to be displayed? Yes, it's my cell number. I cannot pick, well, I could pick my office as my agent because I have a secondary number that's in there. So if you have a direct line at your office that you like to use, not too many people do anymore, but I am a desk jockey, so therefore I would. If you have a secondary number that is different, because you can unselect it. So that's why my secondary number is the direct line at the office. Yes, I do want to display my email address. Yes, I do want to display my web page and my story. So remember, we had put in those social media links. Here's my Facebook business page. My Twitter, oh yeah, that's an old Twitter account there that's been disabled. LinkedIn, and oh, Instagram is Wines for Humanity. So you can put in your links. And my story video, this has to be something that's hosted on a site. You can't just take it right out of your phone and plug it in there. You have to upload it to YouTube or Vimeo or one of the other sites. And then you take the share link and paste it in here. Now your agent image needs to be a square. If it's not, don't worry, it'll squish it down and make you look really great into a square for you. So go ahead and crop it. There's tools right there for you to be able to do that. Let's go to the next page. This is the About Me page. So I had 2 in here. Hello and welcome. So let's get rid of this part. Oh, there we go. See, that's what happens when you play with your stuff way too much. Okay. And next, if you do not have anything in here, in the MLS documents, if you're not familiar with the MLS documents, here's the link. You can see it's a little grayed out, but it's called MLS documents in the upper right-hand corner. And in there, just go to the education folder. And I have a Word doc full of this for you. Or create your own. This one here. So these are the links that I clicked into. You remember you saw my story and those links. So if I wanted to add one in here, well, you know how to do it. It's called add. Here's the web address. I just had one there a minute ago, so I'm going to paste what I had there. That's my home snap. Now as I tab out of this box and into the next one, you'll see that this box is checked, that it gives it the same name as what the link is. I'm like, well, that's dumb. I don't want that. But it's just the default. Home snap. Search, like, and agent. And save. And there you go. Right there. So you can add, you can remove, do whatever you want in here. This could be a list of your preferred vendors. Maybe you want to do your favorite handyman, your closing people, your lawn maintenance. You can do whatever you want in here. It's about you, as long as your broker is okay with that. Let's not forget about that caveat. Now we're moving to the office information. So do you want to display the primary phone number? Yep. There's no secondary phone number that I wanted in here. I mean, I could do a fax or whatever, but no. Do I want to display the address and the logo? Those I have selected. Remember, Laura does require you to do at least one of those 3. I'd like to err on the side of more is just more. Logo, the office address, and the telephone number. All right, let's go to the next. Now, here is part of the one when we were setting up the email. And remember those triggers? What's going to trigger an email to my client? And here are the client notifications. So what do I want to select to go to my clients when I send out an email? Now, this is in general. I can change it on a 1-by-1. You know, if I want Betty Buyer, she just doesn't want a whole lot of information, I could certainly do that. All right, so my client, yes, wants to know of a new listing, wants to know when prices are changed. And then I selected status change. I do like that one. I'm not going to put in initial photo added. Oh, that's going to be horrible. Open houses, no, and tours, no. And comments added by me, the agent. Now, what do I, the agent, want to get notified as? Yes, new listings. I don't really care about this price changes. My client will see those. I don't care about the status changes, but I do want to know if my client favorites a listing or possibles a listing. And then of course, any comments added. So those are going to be how those items are populated in that email to your clients. And remember, you can change it one by one, or you can change your default. Your search options. So when we first entered in your client, I showed you could do the agent preview. Now that's generally saved for your, we'll say PIA clients, for those ones that either A, are a pain, or B, you know exactly what they need and you're just gonna check the listings yourselves before they go to your clients. You can also allow your clients are allowed to search in the Collab Center. I like it better in HomeSnap, that's why I give them both. But what am I going to allow my clients to search on in Collab Center? Well, I'm not going to allow them mobile home parks, and I'm not going to allow them to search on commercial, industrial, business opportunities. It's just not my market. And then I allow them to search on actives and pendings. I leave the closed expireds out of it. I just don't want it to be too busy for them. Now, mind you, this is my personal preferences. If you want them to see solds and expireds and whatever, that's fine. Absolutely fine. And next. Now, I have had a couple of people that did not want their clients to see the estimates or any other stuff. Okay, that's fine. That's your personal preference, because this will be exposed to your clients when they're looking at the listings. So if you don't like it, simply uncheck them. And next. Ta-da, you're done. All right, so those are your customizations. And I think, well, another question is have you added a client to the Collab Center? It's kind of redundant of started using the Collab Center. So maybe I'll change that. Have you added a seller to it? So that's one thing that you guys really should do, is add your clients to it. All right, so is there anything you wanted me to review or go over? Or maybe you want to see how to change your criteria, or go back and see, let's go back and see what Betty Buyer has. So let's go into our context, view and manage Betty Buyer. Now you see I can do my filters here, but you know, I usually keep mine sorted by the top, and I think, so what I do is I will sort these by last notified. So if I click once on the notified, it's going to search by the oldest, which is nothing. I'm going to sort it again. And there we go. There's my Betty Buyer, Lisa, and Debbie. So you'll see that the green means that there is new activity. So if I wanted to go check in and see what's new, there's nothing new there. There's changed there. So I'd have to go in and just see what that new is. So Betty Buyer, here's all 23 matches. I can simply look at all 23 right here, and they will all come up. I'm gonna close this tab out. I can also open up Betty Buyer, expand those searches. So if I wanted to see only those items that were agent recommended, click on the one. So here's a nice way to see, okay, what is going on with my clients? What do they have? What's new? What's on this search? What's on the other search? So there's the St. Clair. Well, down to 3 now? I thought there was more than that. Oh, it's just moving a little faster than that, huh? Now, the one thing that I do like about this is once Betty Buyer starts marking things as what she likes and what she doesn't like, they will populate over here. Now you'll see Lisa, who's one of our trainers. She's actually the one that trained me. It's been 9 years ago now. So Lisa has 3 in her favorites. Now, if I go into her Collab Center, there's going to be a whole lot more than 3. The only ones that me, the agent, is going to see are the actives. I really could care less about her closed favorites. Because here's the reason why I want to see those favorites. And I only want the available active ones. It's because she'll let me know. She's like, Debbie, can we schedule up some of my favorites or some of these listings that I love? Of course. Here's what you're going to do. You're going to select these 3. And if you want to do all 3 of those, Grosse Pointe, Birmingham, and Brighton, that's going to be a trip. I'm going to select them all and check this out. Let's go under actually it's under actions. I'm going to bring those over to showing time. So all in one fell swoop, I'm going to bring them into showing time. And I'm going to create a showing cart. Now we're going to say for tomorrow. And this is going to be for Lisa. And okay. Now it's always a good thing to add your client's name to this. Why? Because number 1, it's going to keep track of how many listings you've shown your client. Number 2, you're going to see it. Wow, I've already shown you that one before. Did you want to look at it again? Now this is because it's such a crazy search here. A little all over town. Not that much. All right. So we can do smart route here. So in case there's different directions and whatever, it's just smart routes them. So now the one thing that oh lordy, these are all blocked out. They need a lead time on those. Might be able to get in around here-ish. So these, got to work a little harder on getting these requested. All right, because you'll see these are blacked out. So the minimum lead time for showing requests. So these guys need, 24 hours minimum. So that's where you got to look at that. All right, so I would say pick a different day and go on from there. And simply just schedule them all up. Now, the one thing I do like about showing time doing this is you'll see in the upper right-hand corner, you can email or print this. So I'm just going to do the print at the moment so you guys can get a good visual. So is this the agent's version or the buyer's version? So we're going to do this for the buyer. You'll see this, it will remove the lockbox combinations for that. Show the listing image, show directions and a map. So now this is what you have. Here's your buyer tour, 3 stops, 61 miles. It's for Lisa. Now, this will show that they are not yet requested. Remember, this is your client's version. All right. And they'll give you turn-by-turn directions here. Pretty nice. It's just a really nice, easy thing to give to your clients. You can email it to them so they'll have it on their phone, blah, blah, blah. All right. So now you see one of the important reasons why you want to have your clients marking items as favorites, because you can easily find them. Now, if I do go over to Lisa's Collab Center, you'll see a lot more than those 3 favorites. Like, she's been doing this for years for me. Aha, see, 38 favorites. But only 3 are active at this point. Very nice. Okay. Let's go. Anything else you guys are thinking of? Maybe, so one of the videos that are going to go to you in the thank you email, there are 3 videos that are going out. 2 of them are the short, quick tips. One is changing your criteria for your clients' searches. The other one should be adding a seller. And then there's going to be the full video version of Collab Center. Then don't forget the cheat sheets are also loaded up on the right-hand side. To find the rest of our cheat sheets, you're going to be up here in the MLS documents. There is one called education, but if you go to our education, my real source is the MIRF education. I have a few extra ones for us. I generally have them in alphabetical order. Unless something is new, I'll let it stay at the top for a minute. But if I want to do collab and enter, here are my 4 handouts for the Collab Center. There's the one for your buyers, changing search criteria. Oh, there's the About Me page. So that was that page. I'll just show you. Download. It's the Word doc. Hello and welcome. I'm excited for this opportunity, blah, 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 blah. Oh, there was 2 different versions in there. So now you see. Now you see how to find whatever you need. All of our cheat sheets are loaded up under the MLS documents. You see all. There's a few of them. We've been working on these for a while. Absolutely love it. So you know how to add your contact in. That's your overview, your contact information. We know how to add, you can do their home address, you can manage your contacts, put them into HomeBot, group them, use the reverse prospecting, buyer activity. There's all your saved searches on the left. Seller activity, associated property. Now we don't do the Paragon CMAs. We found that it was a bit lackluster. So we use Cloud CMA. More information, notes, tasks, documents, financials, message history, and then your contact summary. So there's a lot to do in here. And if I were to go into the buyer activity, say my saved search for Betty Buyer, here is how I can edit or remove whatever I want. So maybe lottery search, so like, yeah, no, Debbie, I don't really think so. I'm going to remove this search from the contact because I don't want to delete that. That's my favorite search. Now, if I have the agent recommended, I could also remove listings out of here as well. So I could add a listing and I could manage the listings down here. So there's the one. If I wanted to remove it, simply select it and hit remove. So I can add from here as well. Pretty nice. Close. And that's how you do that. And your comments are down here as well too on that particular one. So there's a lot here. And I don't think we have any other comments or questions, so I think we're good. I do allow a full hour and a half for the class, but seeing how we are not hands-on and we're not in class right now and helping with the one-on-one, that makes it for a bit of a shorter class.